we're going to Gigi's house. And they hung up. So then
and you're driving.
I'm driving. So I'm like, okay, I get my Ring doorbell open and I'm looking at the Ring. And then they're just running around the house by themselves.
Circle.
And TC's car is not there. So then I'm
wow.
okay, TC's car is not there. The kids are home alone, setting off the alarm, running around outside. I see them on the swing set from the backyard camera. Like, this is all I
good thing you have a good camera setup.
Well,
Kudos to you, man.
Paranoia is a fucking Epstein
Is it?
compound.
She used it. She used it. Her kids were left home alone. I say justified purchase.
I hear in the speaker. They all have speakers, by the way. You're like, what are you doing out there, mother?
Where the fuck are you, you fucking deadbeat dad?
It scares the shit out of me. I'm just trying to look at my goddamn
This
palms.
is the crow speaking, you mother.
I'm a scat man. These are the rhubarb. These are the rhubarb. I'm a scat man.
Yeah, he's good for one of those a year.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That's Caribbean too.
If I can't understand the language, it's Caribbean.
So it's like montage of how he used to work for like a super high end expensive restaurant, and where they do like the small plates of the fucking drizzle the shit, like a little.
Three little squirts of pesto and fucking one scallop.
So he's doing that, and he puts a little scallop, and then the little fucking makes a radish into like a flour.
You put microgreens on it.
And then he's drizzling some shit or whatever, and then he's got this big white plate with a tiny little circle with some drizzles, and then the chef's yelling at him about how his drizzles aren't right, and then I'm like, what the fuck is that? And then I told Crystal, I was like, who gets joy from eating the weird little tiny round drizzle?
Tons of people.
And then she's like, you wouldn't understand because you're
too dumb.
If you really love me, you'd leave me alone. Is
that your love language?
Yeah.
Is that your love language?
That's it, Brendan.
Oh my God, you're a cactus.
All you have to do is do those things, and
Just
then they're
copy
watching
them.
you, and then they'll just do it.
Just copy them.
So, like, whenever they're wearing something cute, I say, you look really nice today in that. I love those pants on you. So then they just do it. You know how they say thank you? With TC and I always talk about, and I'm bragging a little bit, but, like, I don't have to tell my kids to say thank you. They genuinely feel thankful when somebody does something nice for them, which I love so much. I never taught them to say thank you. We just say thank you to them or, like, to other people. So they just learned it.
Yeah.
So if you lead by example, then they
He zoned out, I saw.
Tactical says, how about a show where Tom brings me back my shit?
You pretend they're further north than Americans are, but they're really not, and I'm going to prove it to you. This is the 49th parallel, the longest border between two countries anywhere in the world, and the one that's most often thought of as being the dividing line between Canada and America. It's true that most Americans do, in fact, live south of this line, but so do most Canadians. In fact, roughly 70% of all Canadians live south of the 49th, in this land shaded red. But we can go even lower. A full 50% of all Canadians live south of this line in this relatively tiny area shaded red.
All right.
So
take that, Canada.
You know what? I hate the internet for teaching me something that I thought I knew, and then and wants to change my mind with reality. I don't want to change it.
What do you mean, like when we say they're up there, they're really right next to us?
Well, it's like when you break it down and you're like, well, they're actually like, lower.
They're the same as us.
Or
We're more alike than we are different. I know we aren't.
Yeah.
Have you seen these people?
You're ruining my preconceived notions that I've lived with for so long that you're screwed up my reality.
If you eliminate all my prejudices, I can't scream.
Yeah. Then I'm like, I know.
I'm a shell of the bigot I used to be.
Who wants to be woke? I hate being awake. All right. So
that is a dad joke.
I'm sorry. So Josh, it's explaining that most Canadians actually live right next to the United States, or even lower than.
You're like our hat.
Michigan.
You're like our hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's more Americans in like Washington, North Dakota, Minnesota who live further north than most Canadians. And you guys didn't get to it there, but there's actually a spot in Northern California where there's more Americans in Northern California than there are, and there's Canadians further south. So you can be in California and say, I'm further north than this certain percentage of Canadians. So I know you like rooting dreams, Tom, so I just wanted
That's
to
a
put
good
that
one.
out there.
I actually like it when you end with a little Ross Perot factoid graphic. I'm into that. I have a thing where I don't like to be caught by the doctor on my cell phone.
Okay, all right.
I don't. So when I'm in there, if they make me sit on the paper, if they make me sit in the chair, no matter what, I try not to sit on the paper, but sometimes they're like, get on the paper. and I'll sit there and I will fight. I will leave my phone in my pocket, and I'll look at anything around the room. I'm looking at the picture. I'll look at all the
the skeletal structure.
I look at the structures. I look at they got a plastic eyeball in there that shows you how the optic nerve works. I look at that. I look in the sink. I look at where they put away the
cabinet.
the sharps. I look at where they dispose
cotton balls.
Yeah, I look at all of that. I might even open a couple drawers. I'm
What's in
brazen.
it?
Yeah, I'll open a couple drawers. I'm walking around, but I do not want to be caught on my phone. I hate it.
Pat is like he is off the show.
Yeah,
when
I don't think people believe that when we tell people. Like,
Yeah.
but people will ask, like, "Oh, okay, I like Pat. What's he like?" I mean, like, exactly like you.
Yeah,
here.
I am exactly
very
100%.
nice bartender,
Yeah.
sweet man that we've known for 20 years. That
Yeah.
we like. You know, he's a good friend of ours. So.
When I meet people that don't know the show and I tell them that I'm a podcaster or entertainer,
Yeah.
they're like, "What?" They're like, "What? Who's interested in anything you have to say?"
Does your neighbor that hates you know you do this?
Well, everybody's surprised because off the show,
Quiet as a mouse.
I'm even less fun-loving, which is
This is his only fun.
Yeah. So people meet me
I mean,
outside.
it's getting that way, right?
They're like, "What are you, a firefighter, a cop?"
So a lot of times that's usually more so up to the art model, whatever they kind of bring their performance, if you will.
So if you like bend over and spread it, I mean, I feel like
if you do,
That'd be hard to stand for that long, though.
Well, they're gonna be, but I'd give it a shot.
This is called Ace Ventura Talks with His Bud.
And this is why we can't talk art with you, Tom.
94.
La 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 la.
Only the best references. Are coming in.
Man.
So yeah, I mean, it's kind of the art. It's kind of the art model's responsibility to know where your butthole is when you're in the room.
Calm down.
Guy's a lunatic. My God, are you drunk?
But you got to know what pose you're giving, and
Yeah. How long do you? What's the longest pose you've held?
longest I've ever held was probably around, well, so if I'm doing like just a portrait where I'm sitting very comfortably, I'll go for like a full hour.
Okay.
I just want to do one thing right in my life.
We have listeners in today, and thank you guys for being here. We appreciate it. And we're getting through all the listeners that are signed up to get through, and I love it. I'm glad to have you guys back. But
I know Tom is because he saw one of the listeners in a thong at the beach party.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I'm
confused. What's going on?
No.
He's uncomfortable. He's uncomfortable.
Nice job.
And apparently, fupa is the correct medical term for that area.
I don't think it's correct.
It's not a medical term.
This is what we were just talking about misinformation and how people start. Yeah, that's a medical term. It's absolutely not a medical term.
Yeah.
Do you understand what
it stands for?
Although I will say,
is it a medical term? I don't need my words on this.
It is on WebMD, but
no. Why is it on WebMD?
But it's fat upper P word area.
Pubic area.
Oh,
so we just changed it to P word.
Yeah.
I thought it was your fat upper the P word area.
Yeah. But
it's
I guess
the pubic area.
But men have fupas too. So
hey, don't say that.
Because I've done lots of these news hits.
You have.
And
But
so,
normally you're goofing.
Like
your infamous Bye Bye Fingers.
The
infamous pyro spot.
Yeah, Tom Van is filling his basket with fireworks. He says this is his favorite time of year.
Fireworks to me represent America. I want to celebrate America. I want to celebrate the New Year's.
Van says it is all about blowing up the old year and bringing in the new, and he wants to do it with a bang. So he's spending some big money to have a good time.
I always go big with fireworks. I like to put on a show. I always do a big party at my house, and usually spend around $2,000 on fireworks. And because I really like to blow it away.
And I've done a lot of these news hits
more
before.
than anybody I know.
What's going on, Drunky the Bear? I'm right here at Floor and Decor, and I'm going to show you around their brand new giant glass selection. What's going on? I'm Drunky the Bear from the Monsters in the Morning. I just got done working the lunch shift at Las Spadas, and
I look like a big fat hamster. Hey, good morning, good morning. What is up, everybody? Oh man, hold on. Where's there? He is. Crespo. Can you hear okay?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me? Oh,
yes,
I'm nice and loud. Wow. Okay.
Yes, you sound good. There he is.
Excellent day.
10 more years and physical TV and monitors will be a thing of the past. Oh, yeah, we'll all be, like, strapping on our VR.
Or hologram screens.
Or just a pair of glasses that...
Or everyone, put on your Google glasses.
Make you do it. Yeah. I wanted those real bad.
They burn hot for a minute.
I got the ones out of the vending machine for Snapchat. But they made me look like, when I put them on, they made me look like Andy Warhol. They're like these fucking little dork glasses. They're like,
tiny little ones?
Yeah, I look like a villain from Despicable Me. Like, I'm not going to do that. See, I'm already on movies.
Look like you're in a 70s Bond villain.
I've already switched onto my movie hat.
It's funny. Hollywood Danny's here.
Hold on, he's here. He's here. Hey. Yeah. Hollywood Danny. Hollywood Danny. He's here to lick your fanny. He's not. He's not here to lick your fanny. And who calls it a fanny these days? Nobody does. This guy likes to laugh.
Hollywood Danny does.
This guy's worried about his beautiful beer fest.
I know.
He should be worried about it.
I know. It's a stressful time to put on a free beer fest.
It's a stressful time to put on a free beer fest.
Absolutely.
No,
It's always a stressful time.
He's also maybe sick of Hollywood Danny. Although you've done what, twice maybe?
No, he's sick of regular Danny. I'll tell you that. I know. Yeah. He hates regular Danny. Hollywood Danny is actually okay.
He's cool. Yeah.
The amount of little details here and there that
too many. It's too many.
That I'm worried about missing because I won't let myself be excused for if some small details fucked up that I should have remembered.
Sure.
Or this week.
Yeah.
So when I'm sitting on Saturday, they're like, you didn't think about this?
Yeah.
You fucking idiot.
Of the 1,000 things, you forgot this one? You idiot.
And by the way, no one else will. It's me that I'm worried about not letting myself.
He's the only one with the plan.
No one else even noticed that
he's the only one with a plan.
Yeah,
no one else knows how to do this.
No, I'm saying like no one else would yell at me like, "Oh, you fucking idiot!" Would be the hardest on myself.
Self-pressure is what he's saying.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
And so I don't want to do that to myself on Saturday or Sunday because
You've been talking it out good though.
I mean, things like this are a pain. I helped plan exactly one live event that had like 3 moving parts. It was such a small thing, and it was a nightmare. It sucked.
It does suck.
I hated it. I was like, why am I doing this? This sucks.
Live events and and even though we've done these every year for a long time, it's every year it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
If some things will change, they're like, oh, this is different this year or whatever. So like, and then there's a lot of just. You give it up to God, and you're just like, well,
which is hard when you don't believe in God. I know. It's hard. You're giving it up to a step removed.
Yeah, to the great magnet.
Yeah, to the great magnet. Give it to the magnet.
Like there's only so many things you can confirm, and it's like, and then you're just like, hope everything works out.
Let me ask you a serious question. Yeah. What does confirmation even mean?
Well,
sometimes it means nothing.
Someone's like, hey, I'll be there.
Yeah.
And then it's like that's all you get. There's no like. Contract.
Yeah, right.
And that's different for every person.
Shows up.
Yeah. Every person's version of I'll be there is different. And there's different percentages.
Sometimes it's I'll be there on time. And sometimes it's I'll be there late.
Sometimes it's I'll be there.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson, Diana Ross.
Yeah, great song.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's fine. Yeah. I saw, going on top of this, I might have somebody we need to talk to. I didn't think about this until I saw that she had officially changed her Instagram handle. But a woman I grew up with, Courtney Ford, who does Newfangled Market, she does the DeLand Indie Market, she does the Sanford Indie Market, all these indie markets.
Yeah.
And she changed her Instagram handle to the most anxiety handle I ever. It was like Courtney Ford Professional Events. I was like, oh, whoa, this is what you do? Oh, my God.
Just the event part? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So I'll talk to her. I'll hit her up.
Now, if that's your only job, it's not that bad.
Because that's all you do.
Yeah,
you should be getting good at it.
Yeah, and then if you have like lots of time just to focus on that, then it's not that bad. But when you're just adding this to your normal job,
it's like today you gotta stop.
That's right.
So you can record the show. You gotta do the show. You have all the other things you gotta do.
That's the hardest part.
Yeah, you don't have an event planner sitting in the back working on it while you're doing all your other stuff.
Yeah. That's what I'm gonna work on next year because we did have a BDM that was an event planner that offered to help.
Passed away.
No, it just things.
I make up a lot of lies on this show. Crespo, she passed away.
I would believe you too because I had no idea.
Horrible.
I'm like, oh, it's sad. Should I send flowers?
It was a murder-suicide.
Oh, that's the cleanest way to do it.
Yeah, it was her boyfriend. Choked her out in a parking garage. And then he got in the car and drove the car off the parking garage into the water and drowned.
The worst way to do it.
She was all set up to help.
Oh, before we talk movies, we got to talk the Tyson fight. Did you watch it?
I tried to watch
it. Hey, you're in my camp. He got to do it. I should have watched it at a hotel, apparently, on my phone.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Van, would you like to begin?
Sure.
Your hair looks aggressively good today, buddy. Here we go. 3, 2.
Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We are live on Twitch and YouTube, and we would like for you to watch us. So just head over there. Like and subscribe. Search for @TomandDanLive if you want to catch all the behind-the-scenes stuff and the live feed straight from the studio.
So our Bad at Business Beer Fest is this Saturday. It's a completely free beer fest.
It is.
We have over 30 different breweries and brands that are giving free samples.
Some seltzer, some cocktails in there.
There's a THC seltzer this year.
There's a bunch of different stuff in there.
A lot of local craft breweries and just different alcohols that you can sample.
Ones that we know, some Wayne Dench ones, a lot of good stuff.
We start at 12 handing out the sample cups. We have gift bags, 500 gift bags starting at 12. And when those run out, you still have sample cups and wristbands. But the gift bags will have gifts from sponsors in them. So I suggest just showing up at 12, getting your gift bag, then enjoying Sanford, maybe hit up Celery City, West End, grab some drinks, some food, then come back.
I would get some food. I'd get a base. I'd go to my favorite eatery or A nice little, little small, a little place to grab a snack there. I'd get a nice base, make my way over with my cup and my wristband.
We're going to have a lot of our sponsors out, setting up tents that you can, they'll be giving out stuff.
Oh, yeah.
The Science Center's coming out. Mo DeWitt, Bussecker they bought a popcorn machine. Bussecker's like, I'm going to give out some Mo popcorn.
That's unnecessary. I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
And we got some merch and some T-shirts. The event shirts are for sale.
Bussecker looks oddly like the man that owned the popcorn store here in Orlando.
Oh, the little nerdy white guy?
The nerdy white guy that owned Colonel Encore.
Yeah. Well, now I can't say what his wife looks like.
Yeah, you can't. Oh, sorry.
So
I think they're still online, those people.
Also at 2 p.m., we've got a live band.
We do.
The Silver Linings Band.
The Silver Lining Band is, they're good, man. And they do like their brand of covers where they kind of do, it's almost like a playlist.
Yeah,
and they kind of morph it together. It's really, really fun.
You could yell out requests, and they will attempt to play whatever song you yell out.
Yeah, apparently that's a thing.
And we have live music, and then, of course, a bunch of food trucks and vendors, and this is a big street party. Then the very next day is Sofa and Suds, the Sanford couch races. The weather is going to be unbelievable this weekend.
It's going to be so good.
I think it's a high of like 68 on Saturday, and then like 72 on Sunday.
That is beer fest weather. That is perfect beer fest weather.
So we lucked out. I was looking at that storm for a second, and I was like, please don't. I mean, because I'm never doing this again. If a storm,
I knew you were
if a storm rolls through and then it's horrible weather and the events are ruined,
and blows it into the sun.
I'm like, I'm done. I swear, I was gonna tell everybody, I'm not doing it anymore. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but this weather, we're doing it one more time.
Yeah.
One more time.
We just need people to show up. That's it.
Indeed.
I think at this point in time, we just are worried about people showing up. That's why we're doing a bunch of media.
Hey, grab your ID and come on out. We'd love to see you.
We have Chris Crespo here. How you doing, Chris?
What up?
From Cinema Crespedeso podcast.
Very good to see you.
Thanks, guys. Good to see you, too.
We're going to talk some movies, but before we talk movies, we have to talk about the Tyson fight.
I'm glad that you're calling it the Tyson
fight.
Yeah, I'm glad you're calling it the Tyson fight, though, because, putting his name first.
Well, he's the reason for the season.
He's the reason for the season.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
I mean,
is he?
I don't know.
Also, I'm sure everybody saw it. Jake Paul won by decision. It's hard to even call that a fight.
Right.
It was the worst boxing match I ever witnessed.
It was the worst streaming event I've ever witnessed. I mean, the ladies.
Yeah, Daniel said he couldn't even watch it.
I mean, I think Chris and I are in the same boat.
I couldn't even stream it. Yeah,
I
it wasn't
couldn't
working
get
on my
Netflix
phone.
stability to settle. I watched it from my Xbox downstairs. Tried Netflix there. Then we tried Netflix Apple TV. That didn't work. Then we went upstairs and tried Netflix again, Apple TV upstairs. It's just nothing. It would play for like 15, 25 seconds, and then it would like either buffer or it would pixelate or it would freeze or it would back out of the entire app itself.
Yeah.
It was a mess.
Yeah.
I heard a lot of people were having problems. I was getting the pixels, like it being
all
the lower quality.
You're lucky. You're the lucky 1% if you could get the entire thing pixelated. You were watching the Minecraft.
You could actually watch it.
Minecraft Tyson.
Yeah, but it was going in and out. But I was able to watch it, and I was at the
sweet Rosie Perez, massive boxing fighter. Okay, I had her on there.
Let's talk about it.
She's a huge boxing fan, but. I wouldn't.
The commentators.
Yeah, Morrow is a boxing guy. I also know him from WWE, the main commentator that looks like sort of like an aggressive nerd lead singer of the Descendants. Kind of looks like Milo, with the big glasses.
Yeah.
So, okay, I a bunch of things.
Yeah.
I thought about this all weekend, and I watched the whole thing. And by the way, it started like they didn't even start fighting until 12:30 a.m.
Too late.
Way too late.
And so I thought I was going to miss the fight. In fact, I text
He
Daniel.
texted me like 10:30, and I had already abandoned it.
I abandoned it at like 10:30, 11. I was like, I can't keep doing this. I'm going to bed.
I hit the A button.
The fight was 2 hours after that.
Yeah, I was hitting the A button like 75 times. I was like, this is a job. off.
It was annoying. Oh my god.
So we got out of the Avett brother. We went to St. Augustine to watch the Avett brothers, and I was like, I saw that the whole event started at 8 o'clock. So we got out at 10, and then we went to Mellow Mushroom after, and then I was texting Daniel like, what happened to the fight? I couldn't see, and then I saw that it didn't even started yet.
Yeah.
Like Tyson is hours away.
Yeah.
And
I was probably already talking to my wife. I was I was already ready for bed, man.
So the fight before, it's funny because when we got back to the hotel room, we left the kids at the hotel, and then we turned on Netflix, and it was spotty, but it played for us.
Nice.
But they had that the female fight before the Tyson fight.
Yeah, well, they also had that other fight, which was like a Middle Eastern influencer versus it was like two influencers from like India. You know, I think they were trying to sort of capitalize on that huge, Indian population.
The billions.
Yeah, and they had these two Indian influencers. I mean, that fight was literally a nothing. The girl fight was good, and we were watching it, but again, it hold for like 40 seconds, and then dump us out.
Yeah. And so that fight, I mean, it's funny because my sons ended up watching the Tyson fight.
Oh, cool.
And I kept telling them, I'm like, this is not boxing, kids. I'm like, the fight you saw before this, that was boxing.
That was a real boxing.
I mean, where their blood, because I mean I forgot the Irish fighter's name that she won the fight, even though it looked like the Puerto Rican girl actually won the fight, and they gave it to the Irish lady.
Yeah,
anyway,
a lot of people complained about that.
Her ears were bleeding during the fight. The trainer,
excuse me, your brain is bleeding out of your ears, man.
The trainer was wiping blood from her neck, and I was like, "Where's this blood coming from?"
So for every hole she has.
Yeah. And so I'm like, that is what happens after a real fight.
Yeah.
Like what you saw Tyson and Jake Paul, that was a sparring match.
Pretty much.
That was a lazy sparring match.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you beat up old guys. You did it 20 years ago.
Now, before the fight, of course, it made all the social media Tyson's big black ass. When you turn around, he's wearing the.
We got the slap it weigh-in too. Remember, everybody's like, "Oh, he slapped him. He's gonna kill him now." And then we saw his big black ass.
And so when that happened,
a lot smoother than my ass for his age.
his age, yeah.
I will give him an award for a very smooth old man ass.
Now that's
still bulldoggy though.
I forgot what that boxing jockstrap is called, but it's got the it's basically, I think maybe it's just called the boxing jockstrap.
He grabbed his pecker and
like shook it at everyone.
And shook it at everyone.
Yeah, during the weigh-in.
Oh, Maisie saw that too. Maisie goes, "What is he doing?" I'm like, "He's shaking his pecker."
So
it's a Michael Jackson tribute.
Yeah, you can't do that.
When Tyson did that, I was like, oh, he is well aware that he's got the boxing jockstrap on, his ass is exposed. Like, he's doing this for comedy.
Sure.
But then I was
for
like,
attention.
100% I thought he did it on purpose, right?
Yeah.
Because he's no matter what, even like as he's dying, he's still a sports jock. And those guys love walking around naked, right?
Especially
all of them.
When you're cut like he is now.
Yeah, I think
he's in the best shape of his life,
but I think everybody, girls and guys, I think that's a sportsman thing. I think once you've worked to a point, Tom's there now. If Tom now wants to show his,
he wants to strip down and shake it at us,
and humiliate us with
absolutely.
his body.
No. And I'd have to sit here and take it, like, all right, you win, buddy.
We would have to take it.
I ran a marathon. I'm sorry.
So, a couple things. I saw a lot of people were like, "Oh, this, Tyson's old man. Like he's not that old."
No.
And based on his training videos, which obviously the whole internet's talking about, like, look at his training videos and watch the fight.
Yeah.
Why is it so different?
Completely different.
And so then everybody's like, "Oh, well, this was rigged. This was, which we talked about. There's scripted.
God, everything's rigged these days, right?
But I don't think it was scripted because this would be a horrible script. So right.
Yeah, it's a terrible ending.
Well, it's not scripted. They have to improv it. They just know, like, we got to go to distance. Don't knock each other out.
Yeah, but guess who's not a good actor? Tyson.
Neither of them.
Right?
Yeah.
He didn't seem. Did it not seem like you and I were talking a little bit about it this morning, and like I guess just to cut to the chase, it seemed as if Jake Paul wanted Tyson to more, give me more, but we weren't going to get more,
but
and
Tyson,
we got what we got.
Maybe Tyson was. This is just going into the whole conspiracy thing. Maybe Tyson was, quote, afraid to go in on Jake Paul. Goes like he hit him that one time. I saw some clips. He hit him in the first round. He jabbed him. Paul stumbled, and then he just like let him go and reset instead of following up with like an uppercut or something that he would normally do.
Right.
And then the rest of the match, he's like, well, I can't hit this guy that hard. He's a glass
And Tyson
jaw.
doesn't fight with a reset. Tyson usually, once he gets you stumbling, he just continues
He goes,
forward.
yeah. He's trying to end everything normally he tries to end every match as quick as possible because he has asthma. He said this before. He likes to end matches in the first couple of rounds because then he gasses out super fast. That's probably part of why they did 2-minute rounds, only 8 rounds.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm going to distance. I can't go 12 rounds, 3 minutes, and at this age with asthma.
Although it did not seem like he was that gassed. Although
that one part where he started crying and screaming, did you see that where they zoomed in on him and he's sitting there and he's at the corner and he's sitting at the corner and then he goes and he does like a weird cry scream.
I did not see that.
Oh yeah, go back and look at that.
Wow.
It's weird.
So I'm commentating to my family as I'm watching this, and I'm watching this fight, and I'm like, oh,
lucky them. They got the real broadcast. Man, you should have taped that.
So I'm like, they're setting this up.
Tall Band Live. We've got Tyson up against Jake Paul.
Up in the ropes.
Because I was telling them,
He's doing the old rope down.
I was like, this is being set up for Tyson to knock Jake Paul out, and they're making it look like he doesn't got it anymore. He's too super tired, and then I'm like, watch. I'm telling Crystal, Max, and Tommy, I'm like, he's gonna come out after round 6.
You're like trying to predict the script almost.
Yes, yeah. Because I'm like, there's no way that they both decided it was gonna be this boring the whole time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, that we can agree on. Yeah, that's why we all know that.
Like,
look,
Jake Paul wants it to be more entertaining than this.
There's 2 things that are absolutely definitives here. 1, they didn't want any streaming issues.
Yeah.
That was, and then 2, they wanted an exciting fight. Those are the 2 definitives.
And I think they blew it on both, it seems like.
Yeah.
Now the streaming issues may be a good thing for them because that means it totally overran their entire system because so many people were tuning in.
Yeah.
So although they didn't want obviously people not be able to watch,
and they're just foot on the gas. I mean, they announced this morning that Beyonce is going to be the halftime performance on those Christmas streaming games, and I'm like, well, because you just announced that, and people love Beyonce, you better buy a couple more servers. It's like us. You better buy some batteries at Walgreens.
They have Monday Night Raw starting in like 6-7 weeks live every Monday. They better be nervous.
I'd be really nervous because every single streaming thing I've ever watched on Netflix, and I've watched 2.
Mm-hmm.
I watched immediately following when we thought he was going to do a big thing about the slap, Chris Rock.
The Chris Rock, yeah.
That was terrible.
I watched that, not good.
And then they've done other stuff with their shows. They do live stuff. It's always bad.
The Tom Brady roast was live.
Yeah.
But those went off, at least live streaming-wise, went off without a hitch, I feel like. So I guess the interest in this was so much more than those events, which is very interesting.
What were the boys thinking? I'd be interested to think, like what is boxing to them? Were they like, oh, this is like, or do they not?
They were horrified by the female fight before because that lady had a giant gash in her eyebrow.
It was pretty bloody.
I mean, you could see the fat in her forehead.
Oh,
you
wow.
know, it was split open,
Old
like
fat forehead,
an inch thick, and they were like, I can't look at that. And I'm like, that's she got headbutted. I mean, this is real fighting.
Yeah.
And so that's why I was trying to explain, like, what Tyson and Jake Paul did. This is like sparring.
Yeah.
This is not like they both obviously are not out to knock each other out or like go at each other 100%. You could see that Tyson held himself back.
Yeah.
It was totally obvious. Like, it was no way for him to hide that. Everybody watched it. And then
he's been under the microscope as a boxer for too long for us to not know how he boxes.
That's
right?
true. Yeah.
Look, I'm just saying of all boxers, he's one we know how they box.
Yeah, he's like the most popular boxer for the last 30, 40 years.
It's like,
And they released training videos of him at this age, and he was obviously super fast.
Fast and strong.
Way faster than he appeared
Well, you
in
brought
this
it
thing.
up this morning. He has to want it. And he didn't want to. It was apparent he didn't care about that night.
So this is what here's my prediction on what I think happened. I think they went into this, and Jake Paul knew that Tyson was wavering whether he even wanted to do this. He probably knew it from the beginning.
Anymore. You don't have the animal.
Yeah, and then I think that
Although the interview with that little girl he did before the fight was pretty awesome. That was a great interview.
They were obviously incentivized to make the fight last as long as possible, right? Like we could tell by them not trying that hard. But,
well said.
And I also think that Jake Paul wanted Tyson to go way harder.
I do too.
And at the end of the fight,
because it's better for him. You don't want to be the guy that had a fight with Tyson and Tyson didn't do nothing, and you just stood there and took a payday.
No one that watched that fight thinks that Jake Paul is a badass boxer
or a legitimate boxer.
Yeah,
his record is BS.
Which maybe that's what was Tyson's thing. Maybe that's his way out. Right? I get the 20 mil. I don't put my heart into it.
Well, Tyson got 10. Jake Paul's got the 20.
Oh, I thought it was 40 and 20 was the numbers.
Was it?
I heard it was 40 for Jake, 20 for Tyson.
Either way, they both got paid a lot of money, a ridiculous amount of money for a exhibition that wasn't even good. Not even a good exhibition.
No.
The Rocky Thunderlips fight in Rocky 3 was better than this fight.
Someone paid $2 million for the tickets to that, and they got like super VIP. I read an article about some lawyer.
That's the new thing. Cows and Cabs had super VIP.
Yeah.
I'm getting that next year.
$2 million ticket.
It's like a $1,000 ticket.
Could you imagine paying $2 million to watch that boring ass fight?
Oh, terrible.
You know, people ask that, and I'm like, I'm going to start saying yes, I can, because I think the positive thinking of thinking that yes, I can will be more beneficial to me. Go, no, I can't. I'm poor.
Manifest that for yourself.
Yeah, I'm going to do it.
Absolutely.
So anyway, this is what I think happened.
I'd have been mad though if I went and paid anything even close to $500 to take it. I'd be very mad. Very mad.
And I think that they went into it where it was Jake Paul wanted Mike Tyson to try harder, and they didn't know how hard he was going to try.
Yeah.
And then during the fight, it was obvious that he wasn't
because
trying.
You can't really ask him, right? You can't pull him aside and be like, "Hey, Tyson, so you know what we're doing tonight, right?" Because that is like not real. Right?
They make the agreement in a way without making the agreement out loud.
It's the old Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
Like, is he going to drop the belt? We won't know until he drops the belt.
Yeah, right.
I think it's that.
It happens in the ring.
Yeah.
Will Tyson let me knock him out, or will he knock me out? You won't know until you get in there.
Yeah,
and he will decide when he gets in there. And I think he got in there and he didn't have the fire.
And I swore, I was like watching the fight. I was like, this last round, Tyson's going to come out hard and it's going to end like
did you tell
WWE.
The boys that? Because I would have thought that too. I would have thought
and then I'm like, watch this. He's waiting. And then as time was going by, I'm like, 1 minute left. He's still not doing anything.
He's not doing anything.
And then with 10 seconds left of the fight, they just stopped, and then Paul starts bowing to him, and Tyson's like, hey, she's smiling.
It was stupid.
And I'm like...
It was like they gave up way too early.
And it was like you didn't even pretend to really want to try to win or like give the audience anything. It was like they completely gave up at the end.
And guess what? We'll be right back there next time they do it.
I don't know. I think.
You think did this change people? Because
I saw a lot of people saying that no more. I'm done with this.
None of the fake fighting. We're done with it.
Well, who does Jake Paul have to fight next that could draw any sort of interest outside of? I mean,
he's gonna have to start really fighting.
He has to fight real boxers. Last time he fought a real boxer, he lost. So
he called out Conor McGregor for an MMA fight. Although McGregor will never fight him, the guy's 100 pounds more than McGregor.
He's like half the size of him. Oh my God.
Like obviously McGregor's an insanely better MMA fighter, but with a 100-pound weight advantage, he's never gonna get in the ring. What does McGregor have to win?
He has no benefit.
Why would you even do that? You're acting. You have a Lamborghini boat.
Yeah,
unless he needs the money, which he probably doesn't.
No, he doesn't. He's got proper 12. He's fine. That guy, he don't need that. But I think he's done with fighting anyway. That guy's a drug addict and a partier. Like, all he wants to do is, like, if you read any of the news stories about Conor McGregor and how puffy his face is, they think that guy's got a serious party problem. Like, he's like not with his family a lot, and then you'll catch videos of him, and he's he's fist pumping.
You just sit around waiting for Roadhouse 2 to get greenlit so you get more drug money.
Dancing around Europe. Oh man, well, I mean, it's a great life, but it's not.
If you can live it.
I mean, it's not healthy for you.
Anyway, the fight was super disappointing.
I'm sorry, man. At least you got to see it.
Sorry, man.
Well, no, at least you got to see it. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to see it.
Yeah, I was looking forward to it. I wanted to watch it.
I like being a part of those like spectacles and stuff like that.
Exactly. I grew up a Tyson fan. I mean, it was nostalgia. It worked on me. You know, I tuned in for Tyson.
Was it immediately available for streaming? or do like
probably the next day.
The next day it was.
Yeah.
Okay. The next day when I woke up, it was still on Netflix. When I came down, I looked at it, and it was up there.
Yeah,
and it was number one. You know, like you could go in there, and I'm sure that they went in and made it look good so you could watch it. But there was really nothing to watch. So
yeah, what a bummer.
Want to talk some movies, buddy?
Yeah, let's talk some movies.
Hangover, Mike Tyson. That's all I got.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
That's when he was fat too.
Tigers hate cinnamon or pepper.
Whatever. Something about tigers.
Some dumb.
That and then it did in the air tonight. Whatever.
Yeah.
So at this point in time, there's a lot of, and they still release a lot of, like, I guess, blockbuster or Academy Award
bigger movies
this time because it's closer to the Academy Award, so they're hoping that it's fresh in people's mind, right?
Absolutely. They typically try to release any movie that might have a chance at Oscars would typically be October or later because voting for the Academy starts in January. Nominations announced shortly after that. So you see a lot of movies come out like December. They'll even do limited release Christmas in New York and L.A. because that's where majority of your voters are.
Right.
And then the rest of the country doesn't even get the movie until mid-January. That happens sometimes. But yeah, so there are still a handful of movies, both hoping to make a lot of money from the holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas, and then also hoping to get that Oscar bump early next year, and then the movie make money, a little longer, home video, rental, stuff like that. Yeah.
So, are there any movies that that you could see like, oh, they're doing this because this could potentially be an Academy Award?
Absolutely, sure.
Right.
Absolutely. I mean, a big one is coming out this weekend is Wicked. That's both.
Okay.
They're both looking to make a ton of money and win awards. I can see it already being nominated for all sorts of technical awards, costuming, production design, music,
People
stuff
that
like
I care about. Smart people that know movies and maybe people that we know about that work at Universal have seen advanced copies of this because of what they do, and they are saying, holy smokes, it's good.
Yeah.
Like,
I have a feeling.
Really, like, make you cry good.
I have a feeling Universal is big on Wicked. They get to see the movie first. I think they're big on it because they open up this whole Wicked experience thing over at Universal Studios where you walk in and they have costumes and props there and they're selling all sorts of Wicked merchandise. I think they're confident that's going to do well, that people are going to like it, and that it'll be a cash cow for them where maybe for Epic Universe, which is opening next year, it's huge, but they have a lot of open space still there to use. That they might open an Emerald City or a Land of Oz type thing expansion at Epic Universe eventually, because if they have the rights to Wicked and all that stuff, and it's a big movie, which they're planning on it being, then why not utilize it even more money-wise? You have the Yellow Brick Road, going to the Emerald City and all that. It's easy. It'd be easy to turn that into a theme park.
It would be, and it would be. It's almost like it made itself a theme park.
Almost,
it's designed.
You got the design there. You got the flying monkeys.
Something
and stuff.
that made me very proud this weekend. Walking through Target, and I'm like looking at all the all of the. I was gonna say marketing. All the marketing for Wicked on everything, and there are like Wicked Oreos, or something. And I looked at it, I'm like, oh, look at that, that's Ariana Grande. And my daughter looks at me and goes, no, it's not. And I'm like, yeah, that's Ariana Grande. She's like, no, that is Glenda. And I'm like, no, that's played by Ariana Grande. And she's like, I didn't know that. And I was like, okay, thank God. I like that. I like that she didn't know that. I like that she was just going with the character.
Just happy that was Glenda?
Yeah, I like that. I like, because that's the only bad thing that I've really heard about this is it's got Ariana, she's
I'm not a big
take
fan.
her or leave her.
I'm not a big fan of hers, but I have read online that she is great in the movie.
She's really good.
She's very funny. Obviously, she's a good singer.
Oh, yeah.
So,
excellent vocalist.
Yeah, I'm sure that she's great casting for the movie. So Wicked's coming out this weekend. It's going to be really big. Also, Gladiator 2 comes out this weekend. That's going to be really big.
All right, so with the Wicked, I have to go see this because
you're not gonna like it.
Crystal's sister, for her birthday, she just turned 30. She wanted to
oh my God, really?
Take everybody out to go see Wicked and then go to dinner after.
At least it's going to be quality. You may not like it, but it's going to be well done.
It should be. I mean, it's going to be expensive, that's for sure.
Yeah. Musical, not my thing.
Yeah, it is a full-on musical.
But it does have, I will say, if you picked one, the music in that one is better than most, but still, you're not going to like it.
I mean, it must be good because how long has that Broadway show run for?
30 years?
A
20
long time.
years?
Yeah, it's one of the longest
Defying
running shows.
Gravity, that's the big hit from
Yeah,
that,
I think
right?
so, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I said the same thing about Phantom of the Opera that I was dragged to.
Yeah.
70 years.
Stinks.
Yeah.
Mamma Mia stinks.
All right.
So I have two stinks.
Wait,
I
this could
can't
be the
imagine.
third time's a charm.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is your third. You did Mamma Mia.
Yeah.
And
For
you
me.
you did Phantom of the Opera, and now you're going to do Wicked.
Just not into it.
I guarantee you're going to hate this one too.
So I don't even know what the plot of Wicked is. I pieced it together. Obviously, I'm like I knew it's the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Like
break it down.
It seems like the Wicked Witch is misunderstood, and she is not as bad as they portrayed in the Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
And then it's about the two sisters' relationship, and but that's all I got.
Yeah.
Is that kind of right?
I think so, yeah. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's also perfect for your wife and her sister to kind of go to.
Oh, sure.
That's
sisters,
a very
yeah.
It's like
yeah.
coming of age, kind of turning 30. I can see it. I get it.
Yeah, for
Is
sure.
the 10 Man in this?
No.
Okay. All
I
right.
don't think so.
There's a lot of like
Dorothy, none of that?
Not really. No.
No, it shouldn't be Dorothy. I mean, you will get the wizard. That's Jeff Goldblum in the movie.
Yeah.
It's more of an origin story for Elphaba, which is the
Wicked Witch,
the Green Witch.
Yeah.
And then Glinda, who's the regular old, standard.
And she's a princess, or she's a witch,
they're
too?
both witches, right?
Okay,
There's
she's
a
just a good witch and
One's
a
a
bad
quote
witch.
good one, one's a bad one.
Right, there's
yeah.
a wicked witch, and then there's the good witch of the. Where's she from?
East.
Is it the East?
Yeah, Good Witch East, Wicked Witch of the West.
I don't know.
Because you have the alliteration, Wicked Witch of the West. I mean, come on, that's a lot of fun to say.
That's
yeah.
good.
Is there a northern or southern witch?
There
here?
is, yeah. The Southern witch is Paula Dean.
She said the N-word.
Yeah, she did. Southern witches are allowed to say the N-word.
So, what other possible?
Sure, big ones. Well, like I said,
big ones where?
Big ones everywhere.
Oh.
Gladiator 2, because the first one was the Best Picture winner. It's really Scott's only Best Picture winner. The guy has a very storied, amazing career full of big movies, but Gladiator, empirically, is his most successful one. So it's one of the only ones he's made a sequel to, which is pretty wild. Early reviews for that are very good. It's supposed to be very entertaining. The lead in it, Paul Mescal, is supposed to be magnetic, is what I'm reading, that he's so good.
A lot of Caesar haircuts.
It's a lot of Caesar haircuts. Denzel uses maybe some modern phrases in the movie, apparently, which is pretty funny. Yeah, that's what I'm reading.
He's like, you are on fleek.
Yeah, that'd be great if you said that.
Yeah.
So that one, I mean, that could be really good, too.
And then they're telling him, they're like, kill him or not kill him. And they're looking at Denzel, and he's sitting up there, and he goes, Skibbity, Ohio!
Thumbs down, Skibbity.
Skibbity toilet to you all!
Now, is Big Fat Crow going to make a
Big Fat Crow. I love Big Fat Crow.
I don't
He
think
comes
so.
out there and he
No.
goes, I'll be your champion, Skibbity!
It'd be funny if his ghost came back from the first movie, but he's fat. Like, how'd you gain weight in the afterlife? What happened there? Yeah.
Tracy is saying, I heard he kissed a man, and that got cut out of the movie.
Yes, Denzel does kiss a guy, and I guess maybe it was an improv moment.
Give me that skibbity old ding dong. Skibbity ding dong. Did he do skibbity ding dong?
Yeah, skibbity ding dong, that mouth.
Did he do that?
Apparently, I think he might have improv'd that bit, and then they're like,
He improv'd a man kiss?
So.
Hey, that's gay. You're gay.
Imagine you're the actor working with Denzel, and all
He
of a sudden
just kisses you?
Yeah, you
That's
reach
called
in-
assault.
Yeah,
You can't do that to ladies.
Not if it's in a movie.
You know how many times I wanted to do
Was
that?
that-
Sam
it
was
was
here
off
for
script?
years. I wanted to lean over and kiss her.
It was off script. It was a part of like all of a sudden you're just.
You're not allowed to do that.
It's like I was in the moment. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, every woman I come in contact with, I want to kiss, but I'm not allowed to do that because that's called assault, Denzel.
And if Denzel Washington leans in to kiss you, you have
You
to
kiss him.
yeah,
You
yeah,
have to.
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
do more than kiss him. I'll tell you right now. I'll give him that training day 69. I'll 69 him training days.
And the whole time you're kissing him, you're like, this isn't even in the script. What the hell's happening?
Are the cameras on? What are we doing?
Oh, the whole time I'm kissing him, I'm like, how does he stay so healthy? So he's such a good kisser.
How does he smell so good?
And old people, their teeth stink.
They do. They do.
No matter what, they're a little
no matter
bit
what,
rotted.
the floss can't fight the floss. Can't fight the
Hey,
floss.
you're in your 60s. Your life of your teeth can't
No
last
matter
that long.
what, you have a stinky mouth.
He's like 70.
Yeah,
he's
you
like
have
70.
70-year-old
Yeah.
teeth.
Oh my God! Think about
Even-
most politicians' mouths smell like bungholes.
Yeah,
Bungles and Zin packs.
Because they're old.
Like you were supposed to die at 30. That's a human life. Seriously.
Can we take a quick break? I need to go change the Zen pouch in my foreskin. I have a Zen pouch squelch in my foreskin. Every show I do a fresh one.
That's where it absorbs the fastest.
Yeah, they said that I'll get some irritation down there, but I have yet to see it.
That's the reverse boofing.
Any other movies, Chris?
Another big one that's going to be for, like, they think it's going to be an awards contender, hence the Christmas release date. It's a movie called A Complete Unknown, and it's a Bob Dylan biopic.
All right.
Hold on. I have a beef with this movie.
Okay.
This is
perfect.
This is Timothy Chalamet Ding Dong.
Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah,
yes.
this is Chalamet, and they're saying that he worked for 5 years with a harmonica coach.
No way.
To
Really?
learn how to learn harmonica, and I call straight BS, mega BS.
That possible.
5 years. You didn't
no
work
way.
5 years to know harmonica coach.
He was barely working 5 years
Chalamet,
ago.
you're 5 years old 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's
Chalamet.
crazy.
He's
yeah.
lying to us, right?
That sounds.
I read this on Friday, and I printed it out.
Yeah,
He was like in an interview, he's like, yeah, I worked with a body image coach and like body movements. I worked with a harmonica teacher for 5 years so I could play just like Dylan. Well, first of all, Dylan plays horrible harmonica.
Yeah, he's not that good.
Yeah, it's not going to take you 5. I mean, if you'd said John Popper from Blues Traveler, maybe I would give you that Chalamet.
Or maybe a little Steven Tyler.
No one asked him, like,
honking on Bobo.
They asked you to do this role 5 years
No,
ago?
they didn't.
Before COVID?
It wasn't even a project back then.
Straight up lie.
That's a weird quote from
I'm
the same.
calling him out.
But the marketing does look good. Marketing looks good. James Mangold is a pretty good director. And musical biopics do well. Actually, the director is the same guy who did the Johnny Cash one like 15 years ago with Joaquin Phoenix. That won all sorts of awards. Joaquin Phoenix got Best Actor. So it's kind of a no-brainer for the money people, for the purse holders, to be like, yeah, we'll let this guy make another biopic of a 60s musician that, people of a certain age love.
Oh, I just thought of a meme. You could do Joaquin Phoenix and then running.
Write
that down. Write that down. I'm going to do that. That's what I'm going to work on later today. Because that's where the money's at, not this stupid podcast.
I just dress like a runner, cleft palate.
Perfect.
Running
Perfect.
Phoenix.
Yeah.
So the what's up with Bob Dylan and the fact that I feel like people either love
him,
like really are obsessed with Bob Dylan's music, or completely disinterested.
Yeah.
And it's not like they're
songwriter. Like, to my songwriter friends, people look at him and they're like, "Oh my God, he just had that way of being able to tell a story that other people can't do." I honestly,
is it folk music?
It is.
Okay.
Started out as for sure. Folk
I don't
music.
see it. I'm not anti Bob Dylan.
I think
there's people that like people that love Bob Dylan, love the Beatles. It is very polarizing.
And it's just like Tom said. I feel like not many people out there hate Bob Dylan. Either you love him or you're like, whatever. He sings kind of weird.
Yeah,
like he has a harmonica. I don't care.
Yeah,
he went electric. Okay, cool. Yeah.
He's fine. I think everybody's like, Dylan. Oh man, without Dylan, I'm like, okay, whatever.
Whatever.
That's fine.
But the movie looks fun though.
Did he have a super interesting life? Like, I don't know anything about Bob Dylan.
I think one of the most interesting things about him, besides how he got popular in the 60s and 70s through music, is that he made up a lot of stuff about his life, and he was always giving people different answers. So he's a liar. He's a liar. He's a liar.
Let's call it what it is.
He's a liar.
Why are we like, he was just so creative with his backstory? No, he was lying to you about what he did. It's like, Bob, what do you do? He's like, I'm a rocket scientist. You're a liar.
I was going to say he created an air of mystery around himself in a time before internet and social media, and when you could tell someone your backstory and it's completely fake, and how are they going to check up on you? They're going to drive to Missouri, to your fake hometown, to look people up. They just believe you. So he was a mysterious guy who wrote music that people liked and that just carried him through. Perfect time for him. You couldn't do that now, 2025, 2024. People be like, I can see your Facebook profile. I can see your parents on here.
Now, right? Like, we don't really value that.
That's true, yeah.
But what I'm saying,
it's a different time now. That's
like,
very true.
Besides from him being a liar, did he have any other interesting things that, like, I'm sure, like, he came up super poor and he made it
cool
famous.
Aesthetic,
did he die?
Yeah, I think it's his aesthetic. It's the hair. I don't think you can discount the hair. He had the little curly fro.
He looked like John Ralphio from Parks and Rec.
I don't know how Bob Dylan died.
Well, he did it, so that's how.
He's alive right now.
Yeah. He's alive.
That's why you don't know.
Yeah, he's alive.
He's still alive. Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So why we never hear from him?
And
right?
now he wears like a cowboy hat, and he has funny facial hair, and he looks like an old man that'd be sitting out like a Kentucky Fried Chicken in like Kentucky.
Yeah.
Like, you look at him now, and you're like, whoa!
What's
you
this
look crazy.
old retired man doing? I don't think he is making music anymore. Yeah. Maybe it's possible that he just hasn't put out anything in a while. Maybe he's just retired. Or he does, or maybe just because we're not fans, so we don't hear about it.
That's exactly it. I still think he does.
Does he still perform live?
He does.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the Bob
he's
Dylan.
such a ghoul.
He is such a ghoul.
Wow, you're a ghoul.
But he still has his hair.
So
Wow,
Bob Dylan's
he'd look
still
better if it went away.
performing and still out there playing.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
I'm gonna go to this so everybody can. I want everybody to see him.
Yeah, you never see Bob Dylan at the Grammys or anything, or not that I could think of, or
right,
or like, any sort of award shows.
Yeah, it's not like if he is putting out.
Has been.
It's not like if he's putting out new music, it's getting played on the radio. Also, no one listens to the radio. It's like, how do people even hear about new music these days? You know, Spotify has never told me, hey, here's a new Bob Dylan release you may be interested in. So, how do you find? You have to be a fan of his already to know what he's up to. I feel like you have to be following him. Or else, I feel like that's with any musical artist these days. Very little stuff gets put directly in front of you. You got to go looking for it.
So do you think this is a case where, like, the Oscars realize maybe this gets nominated and they bring Bob Dylan out to perform at the Oscars?
Possible. Or maybe even, I mean, this is a further shot, but maybe even having Chalamet perform. I could see him agreeing to something like that. A Bob Dylan performance would get more attention from the older crowd.
Oh, they should have Chalamet the God perform.
Chalamet the God.
From The Breakfast Club.
I feel like that's an AI creation waiting to happen.
So
Chalamet
Timothy
the God.
Chalamet the God.
The God.
Okay, I'll do that. I will do that. Do I make him in blackface though?
Oh, that's for your own personal journey to decide.
I have to do it.
I'm not gonna.
I have to do it to be disruption.
You have to figure it out.
I have to be a disruption.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's gonna. I mean, he'll probably be positioned for Best Actor nomination.
All right.
Music stuff.
That's what they're gunning for with the. That's why we're getting all of these horrible, articles about like the body language coach, the 5 years with the harmonica teacher. You know what I mean? They're building the case.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're building the case.
Look how hard this guy worked.
Yeah.
And I like to say this, as often as possible when it comes to Academy Awards. Replace the word best with most. And typically you'll find out who's going to win. He might not be the best actor, but he might do the most acting in that movie.
Ah, that makes sense.
And then that's how you end up getting, attention from everyone because you're doing something big and showy. You may not be the best. Maybe someone did a more subtle performance that's actually great and heartbreaking. But Chalamet is out there doing this thing, and he's got a wig on, and he's playing the guitar. And people are like, look at this guy.
Mixing up the medicine. Hey,
Exactly. Oh, we love this guy.
See,
I can do that.
Yeah, Chalamet is here. That's incredible.
I'm Chalamet.
There you go. You did it.
I'm Chalamet the Dan.
You're Chalamet the God.
It is easier to impersonate a ridiculous character.
A ridiculous
Who's
voice.
over the top,
Sure.
than something subtle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
like if it's a nuance, it's
it's way harder.
It's super hard to do that.
Absolutely.
Can we rewind just for a second because we didn't touch on this? I think with you, unless my memory is absolutely horrible. But what was the immediate fallout, or maybe the drawn out fallout of Joker 2?
Oh, yeah, Joker Folie à Deux.
Because I remember when that
bombed.
came out, and you and I didn't get a chance to talk about it, but I was super impressed that Terrifier 3
made more money.
I mean, Terrifier 3 crushed.
Yeah, it outgrossed it on a fraction of the budget.
I like what you did there. It did outgross it because it's a disgusting movie,
It
too.
is disgusting,
it's
too.
hyper-violent
Those
movie.
movies are so gross.
They are so gross, but there's obviously a
market.
A market. There's so much money there. That was the number one movie talked about the week of Joker 2.
Yeah.
All of my friends were only talking about Terrifier 3.
Apparently there's some sort of bathtub scene that's extremely gross in that movie that everyone was talking about. No one mentioned nothing.
It's a shower
from Joker.
scene.
A shower scene?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's a
there you
shower.
go.
They
It's gross.
they put a chainsaw in an anus.
And you know what?
Yeah. Oh, I thought you could. That's clinical.
Yeah, no, he said
That's
it was
medical.
He's all medical terms there.
That's what a doctor would say. Like,
medical.
we got a chainsaw anus in here.
There's a
You
procedure.
say it that way. You can't say the end part.
No, Joker Folie à Deux. What went wrong with that? They made the movie that no one wanted to see. They made the movie that was just relitigating the plot of the first one. It's a courtroom drama, and the musical sequences I think aren't even that great. They're old. Show tunes that no one even remembers anymore. Lady Gaga wasn't even given as much of a platform that we're used to seeing her sing and perform in. So I think just word got out really fast. This movie is not what anyone wants, and it bombed horribly. The first movie made $1 billion. This one, domestically, I don't even know if it made $50 million here in North America. I mean, it did.
That's so crazy.
It did terrible.
Yeah, it absolutely insane to have
the drop
that
off
Joker
is
movie.
wild.
I had so many people telling me, "Oh, the original, the first Joker." They were like, "Oh, this is DC's back, baby."
Yeah, but people were. I was one of those people. Like, I think DC's back at this point because they're doing really well. And maybe 2 years later, all new management, all the movies since then bombed. The Flash bombed, Aquaman 2 bombed. All those movies bombed, and now they have new people in charge here making all new movies that we're waiting to come out next year.
Have you seen Terrifier 3?
I have not. I've only seen clips of some of the Terrifiers.
Have you seen Red 1?
No, not yet.
I want to see Red 1.
That just came out this weekend, so I think I might go see that. It looks like such a turd, but I'm very fascinated.
I was going to bring my son to go
fun,
see that.
Though. It looks like it's going to be a
got
turd.
The Rock, it's
Chris Evans.
Stupid.
My girlfriend wants to go see it. Calls it Chris Evans. He's not in that many movies lately, especially movies in theaters. For some reason, he's stuck in the streaming world, which is strange because he's Captain America. He's America's ass. People love him, but all the movies he does are like going straight to Apple or whatever, straight to Netflix, and then you watch them and they kind of stink. Like, what's this guy needs to fire his agent. But the Red One came out in theaters. He got paid for it, so hopefully we'll see more of him. I like Chris Evans. I think it's good.
Yeah.
Although he's kind of just a boring white dude.
Yeah, we got a lot of those.
Yeah, well, he's one of the least boring of the boring white dudes, maybe.
Yeah.
What about
the Chris's?
What about the best Christmas pageant ever?
That looks cute. That looks like a it's obviously like a faith-based type of movie.
It does seem faith-based, but I Googled it, and they're demanding. They're like, no, it's not a Christian movie, but it's based off of a book from 1972 of the same name, but it's like it did look. It's got
Pete Holmes, and it has
Pete Holmes, and then I forget the blonde redhead that I like. It's got her Judy Gold,
Judy Greer.
Judy Greer.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
She's great.
Yeah.
It looks good, but it does look like something my mom would have watched on Hallmark.
100%. It looks like an expensive Hallmark movie, like a Hallmark movie that might be kind of good. I'm saying kind of good. But yeah, they don't make too many movies like this. Just a straight up Christmas movie with like a nice message of being kind to people.
Chat room is saying it is 100% a Christian movie.
Fully. I mean, the trailer makes it seem like such a Christian film.
Which is weird because why would Pete Holmes be in there? Like, is he?
Pete Holmes grew up Christian. He was a child preacher, I believe.
Okay, I didn't know that.
He had a hardcore Christian background that he has kind of wrestled with in his adult life.
Okay.
I listened to a bunch of his podcasts, so he talks about religion a lot. And I don't know if he's a devout Christian now, but he has a lot of that stuff in you. I mean, you get brainwashed when you're in the church for 20 years. I know all about that.
It does look very much like how I grew up. Like when I watched the movie, I'm like, oh, this is how I grew up.
Yeah, a little small town, put on a Christmas pageant. I mean, it looks ridiculous, but also looks cute. It also doesn't look like other faith-based quote Christian movies that come out lately, like The God's Not Dead, stuff like that, where it's all like we're taking a current social issue and we're hammered at home and we're driving our points in. It just seems like a type of movie where the message is be nice to each other, be kind, don't judge, kind of traditional.
Have you seen Fireproof Christmas?
The sequel?
Yeah, it's about a guy who's it's about a fireman who's addicted to online pornography.
Mm-hmm.
And he tries to stop.
He tries
to stop fapping around Christmas.
Yeah,
and he's visited by three spirits.
The fapping spirits of past.
The fapping goes to fapping past.
Is there any other Christmas movies that are coming out that are like?
You mean like holiday themed?
Yeah,
I think that's the only one.
You like Christmas movies? I love them. Love them.
Well, it depends. I like.
But if you want to destroy all of them, go watch that T.J. Watt family Dix commercial where they reenact all of the most famous parts of all your favorite holiday movies. The Watts family.
Okay, where is that on?
TJ, JJ, the whole, and it's on like when you're watching football. There's like a horrible Dix commercial, and he does the Santa Claus. You sit on a throne of lies. He plugs the lights in and the whole Christmas lights come out on the Dix. The Esser's full. He does it all. The Watt family. You guys are terrible actors.
Dix's still pumping a lot lot of money into their TV advertising, I'll tell you.
Horrible commercial.
Then you go to a sporting goods store and it's empty.
Like, there's nothing in there.
Where are the people? I don't know about another Christmas movie, but I think, funnily enough, on Christmas Day, a big release for me is going to be the movie Nosferatu. That comes out on Christmas, and it's a remake of the Nosferatu film, a vampire film, which is essentially an unauthorized version of Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's like the same story. I think it's in black and white, and it's directed by the guy who did The Witch and The Northman and his name's Robert Eggers. He makes very adult films, and the early reviews for this movie are through the roof. People are saying it's a masterpiece. I mean, they're hyping it up too much now. They're saying the movie is terrifying, the scariest film made since The Exorcist. I'm like, no way. Relax, guys. I know, exactly. So Christmas.
With Nosferatu.
Christmas
he's got
night, I'm hoping to be there.
Nosferatu's got the, I read this over the weekend. Like a regular vampire, you look at a regular vampire, his canines.
The fangs,
are long.
Yeah.
But not Nosferatu.
They're in the front.
The front two are long.
Like a beaver.
Which makes it way crazier.
Way more animalistic.
He's got beaver vampire.
He's got beaver vampire.
Yeah.
He's the beaver pyre.
Yeah. If you look up pictures of the original Nosferatu from like 1922, pictures of Count Orlok, like promotional pictures, it's frightening images of this guy who played a vampire back in the 20s.
All those in favor of changing EJ's name to Count Orlok, say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. The motion passes. You are now Count Orlok.
There you go.
Oh, Chris, we got to go.
Okay.
So if you want to hear Chris's podcast, it's Cinema Crespedeso podcast. You can find it where all podcasts are heard.
Patreon.com/Crespedeso. We also have the Who's the Baddie podcast, which I just started with Matt Opferman. Actually, he started it, asked me to produce it. It was all his idea. I don't want to take any credit. It's another movie podcast with a very specific angle, examining movies from the bad guy's perspective. Who's the real bad guy of the movie? We have 2 episodes out now, new episodes every Wednesday. Who's the Baddie? Just look it up. It'll come right up.
Yep. Who's the Baddie? Great show. Really good show.
Thank
Highly
you so
recommended.
Much. Appreciate it.
Yeah. You invited me to do that in the next couple of weeks. So I'm trying to figure out what movie.
I already got mine.
I'm thinking about going Shawshank.
Oh.
And,
you should. I think you have to.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Good choice for a baddie.
Yeah. And,
Fun.
He.
You know mine.
Crazy the whole time.
You know mine. And you know that the grandma in Coco is the worst person in the world.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be an easy one.
I hate her so much.
Yeah.
All right. We will see you in a minute.
Bye.
All right. Nice job, man.
All right. Thank you.
Really good.
So, Chris, I don't know how much time you do. You want to do a short segment about just some streaming shows, or like if you got it, like 10 or 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Because we need a segment for tomorrow. We're gonna record anyway, but I figure we could just do, just some streaming shows, some stuff.
I'm kind of up on most streaming stuff. Yeah, I watched The Penguin for sure, and the Dune show started last night.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Yeah. I watched most of it. I was very tired.
Let me use the restroom really fast.
Let me see what other.
I'm watching some anime on Netflix called Dan or Dan.
And why did you pick it? Because of the name. That's awesome. You know who Mitch English is, right?
Yeah.
He's going to be doing this Who's the Baddie show this weekend.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. He picked Liar.
Okay.
I haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun. I like doing this movie podcast because I only record it, basically. Like, other people pick the movies, and I just got to watch the movie. I have way less planning to do with it.
Yeah. That's
It's pretty nice. Yeah. And then they just tell me the movie, like, all right, I'll watch Can't Hardly Wait. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, it's a way different than if you're having to
do everything.
Because then it's daunting. Like, I remember talking to Dan Cummins about that, just because like each one of his shows themed to something. So the amount of research you have to do.
Yes.
And then also and he has a feeling like he doesn't want to miss anything, so there's like you put extra pressure on yourself to get it all right.
Yeah.
And because especially when any popular story, a lot of people know a lot of details that are listening to it.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure to get it right. You know, you're not presenting it to an audience that doesn't know.
All right. I feel more nervous when I do an episode on a movie that everyone knows versus something that I feel like has a smaller audience.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, now I'm informing people as opposed to like confirming facts or whatever for people. Yeah, for sure. It's definitely different.
And then you start looking at your like the amount of research time and shit. Now you're like 18 hours of fucking like thought put into half an hour. People don't realize that. It's like I'm even listening to some of these like NFL guys talk sports and stuff. Like the amount of shit you have to know.
All the tape that they're watching and all the research you're doing.
Just watching all the fucking games.
Yeah.
It's like you know, and I know they have them condensed now and stuff, but even, you know, watching 16 games over, you know, it's just like, it's an insane amount of
for your small podcast that people listen to once and then dispose of it, move on to the next thing. Yeah, maybe even listen to half of it. Like, I'm bored. I'm moving on. Oh, thanks, yes.
All right.
Well, let me just look up some top streaming shows.
Yeah, Dan to Dan is what it's on Netflix.
What's it about?
I'll let you watch the trailer.
Okay.
Right here.
Cool.
It's they're basically like mystery hunters.
もし幽霊がいるってなったらあんたをうちのパシリにするからね。見せてやりましょう UFO。いや UAP。
Okay, basically, I thought it was going to be in English, but that nerd boy and that cool girl. So it's fish out of water, typical thing again, where it's like cool girl wants boys to like her, nerd boy always gets picked on. They meet in detention.
Okay.
He is obsessed with aliens. She's obsessed with ghosts. He sends her to track aliens. He sends her to track ghosts. Because there's a little bit of a tension there.
Okay.
They do a lot of that weird Japanese shit where they're falling on top of each other. And like, you know, like I wish they wouldn't do that.
Yeah, they do.
How
they
is
love
that acceptable?
Yeah.
How is that in any way, shape, or form?
They love that
Young
stuff.
people out there, like, I can't say, there's things that they look at me like, you're a dumb old boomer old man or whatever. And I'd be like, motherfucker, your shows have everybody rubbing their crotches on each other. It's totally okay.
Your shows are very horny and featuring very young characters.
Yeah, it should not. But anyway. But it's good because they end up becoming like a ragtag investigation team, and they get into adventures.
That's cool.
It's like Japanese Scooby-Doo.
Oh, hey, that's all you had to say, actually.
Yeah, I should have just said that.
That actually sounds like I'm totally in.
Yeah,
I like that it's aliens
like
and ghosts.
Yeah, and more, and more, like, and all that shit.
Cool.
But it's good.
Cool. Dan.
Oh, Kupo J, thank you. Ghosts versus Aliens.
Ghosts versus Aliens, Requiem.
The manga is spectacular, he says. All right. I do like it. Hey, Kupo, if you got any recommendations, man, throw it to me. I watched 2 episodes on Saturday because I had a little bit of time. I was helping Andrew with something, and I was just sitting there doing busy work. And
shows like that are good for if you only have like a little bit of time here and there.
20
it's
minutes.
like 20 minutes. Yeah. There's a show that's on Crunchyroll on Amazon Prime called Blue Lock.
Okay.
And it's write that down. It's a soccer animated show. But it's like it's Japan. They're looking for a striker. They need a striker to build their national team around. They find 100 best strikers in the country. They're all very young, and they invite them to this facility where they lock them in this facility.
Oh, it's
like a Squid Game sort of thing. They lock them in, and they're going to split them up and do all sorts of tests and challenges to narrow down the field down to one person.
Oh, we should talk about that.
They did 1 season, and actually I think the second one just came out recently on Crunchyroll, so I have to resubscribe to Crunchyroll so I can watch it. That's a really fun show. I just put on randomly, and I got sucked in.
All right. I'll check it out. Thank you, Kupo. Kupo's saying the second season you may be disappointed.
No.
But he's all in. He's all in.
All right, well, I'm going to watch it anyway.
Yeah, okay, those are both good.
Cool.
You know what I've been watching that I watch every morning? Well, it's going to be, when it ends, I'm going to be sad. I've been watching every morning when I'm on the Peloton. I've been watching Starting 5. And those shows by Netflix, the ones that they did when they document sports.
The sports ones, yeah.
They're really, that one's real, man, they got me. Jimmy Butler's dad died.
Oh, wow.
And obviously, like, with having no parents, that's like, close,
you identify with that, yeah.
Yeah, and going like, shit, this is good. They do these long camera, it's great. It's a really fucking good show.
Wow.
Really, really well done.
There's just too much stuff, man.
That's Tom and I talk about that all the time. There's way too much shit. Let's see what's top streaming.
Oh, just going through some things that we could talk about.
Oh, Silo. I forget about that show.
Yeah, season 2 just started on that, I think. I love season 1.
Arcane?
People are saying that's fantastic.
Isn't that a video game show? Arcane? Or am I thinking of something else?
No, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Right?
I think it may have come from a video game.
There's a lot of great stuff on Apple that I need to watch. Oh, yeah, The Day of the Jackal. I want to watch that with Eddie Redmayne.
Lincoln Lawyer is still #1.
That's crazy. That's like all the NCIS
like
people moved over to Netflix. Yeah, exactly.
Agatha All Along? What is that?
That's the Disney Plus show. That's the WandaVision sequel.
Okay,
Which I didn't watch that. I plan on it, but again, too much stuff.
The Diplomat. Disclaimer.
The
so funny.
The Diplomat, I think, is a remake of a French show, or I'm thinking of something else. No.
Don't Come Home.
League of Legends is what Arcane is based off of.
Oh, interesting. I've heard of League of Legends.
Rivals. There's so much shit that.
It makes me think that it's all though, like it's just it's my own personal theory about it. But when everybody has the technology to make great shows, I just feel like we have shittier shows.
Yes, absolutely.
I kind of feel like there should be, and this sounds so shitty, but I kind of feel like there should be some people in charge to be like, no, you can't do this because you would be wasting resources.
Yeah, it's kind of like, oh wait, maybe gatekeepers were a good thing.
Yeah, I know, and
unfortunately,
I hate
it. Yeah, I hate it too.
even saying that.
You want to be like, no, we need to get as many stories out there as possible. Give everyone a shot.
I don't know if that's true,
but no, a lot of people suck. Making TV shows and movies is very hard. It's a very hard thing to do, and to make a good one is even more hard. Even more harder.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's too much crap out there. Faux show.
Dark Winds. God damn, there's so many.
Dark Winds. Was there a new season of that? I think that's a show I've been meaning to watch. That's on AMC Plus.
Yeah, season 2.
Yeah. Dark Winds. That's an interesting show. My buddy Drew watched it. He really liked it. Recommended it.
High Potential. God, there's I mean.
All right, this might just be saying words. I'm like,
that sounds
like a show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Charged Integrity.
Yeah, Low Density. Oh yeah, I've seen Low
Did
Density.
You see Charged Integrity?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh, is that the space one? Yeah. No. It's
a lawyer.
It's a lawyer one.
Space
wait.
lawyer. It's a space lawyer.
Is that based on an anime? Actually, I think it's a video game.
It's actually, but it's the French anime. Not
the French one.
Yeah.
Bad Monkey.
Bad Monkey is Vince Vaughn, right?
Yeah, Vince Vaughn. That's the Bill Lawrence show, the guy who did Scrubs.
I heard that's really good.
Yeah, actually, the reviews for that are pretty good.
I can't look at the cast of Scrubs the same way then after all those stupid commercials.
I know, there are all those dumb commercials.
Yeah.
Where they're just playing themselves, their characters.
And obviously, the one black guy, what's that guy's name?
Donald Faison.
Donald Faison is a better singer than old
Zach Braff.
Yeah, what was that? Garden State. He's a better singer than old Garden State.
Yeah.
So it's weird when you've got one guy singing like he's like, and the other guy's like,
yeah.
It's weird.
He's got to do like silly singing.
Didn't you say you watched Starting Five?
I'm watching it right now. I literally just said that 30 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was.
He's in his bubble. He's in his bubble.
He's working.
I'm just looking through.
Yeah, Starting Five, dude. Starting Five fucking rules. That's a great show. The Dallas Cowboy cheerleader show is great.
They're really nailing it with the sports documentary.
Yeah, that one's great.
Shows. Wow.
The Simone Biles show is pretty good.
And as long as people watch them, they're going to keep making more. Like, it seems like they're going on that and animes.
What Did Jennifer Do is good. That one's good. That's a Vietnamese, terrible Vietnamese family tragedy.
Oh.
Yeah, I watch a lot of that.
All right. We'll just do a little 15 minutes.
This is coming back, correct?
Yeah, this will be for Tuesday 3.
All right, Tuesday 3. Here we go. What were you going to say? Were you going to say something, Chris? Okay. Here we go. In 3, 2. Welcome back to A Corporate Time.
Chris Crespo's here.
Hey! Let's see if this works here.
We're going to...
It does it. It gave you a little crickle crackle.
I'll take it.
We're going to talk a little streaming, some documentaries, just all other things, maybe besides from just movies.
Sure.
Maybe a little movies, too.
What do you subscribe to? Just to get it out of the way, are you in every... I said last Friday, and I want to make this known to Chris Crespo, I have reached maximum streaming. I subscribe to everything plus cable, which makes me Dr. Manhattan of streaming. I have everything. There's not one. I have Crunchyroll. We've talked about that. I have all of them at my house. All of them. Paramount Plus, ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
I have all of them.
I'm going to start coming to your house.
Hulu, Disney
I'm
Plus.
going to cancel all my stuff and just come to your
I got
place.
both. You don't even need. I got all of them. I got Spotify.
You don't even need the bundles because you got them all separate.
I got Apple Plus. I got Apple. I got Tidal. I don't even need Tidal, but I got it. But anyway, I just want it known that we have them all.
I know I have a couple you haven't even heard of.
Okay,
for sure.
Throw some at me.
Mubi, Mubi.
I don't have Mubi.
Yeah, Mubi. That's what the movie The Substance is on. Oh my goodness, guys, watch The Substance. I'm just throwing that out there. Fantastic film.
Okay, so do we have to?
You have to subscribe to Mubi,
to
or else you Plus, you have to rent it on its own. The Criterion Collection, they have their own app, the Criterion Channel. Yeah, I pay like $100-something a year for that thing. It's incredible.
What is that?
It's a lot of like
the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah, Criterion. They handpick movies to put out. First, it was on Laserdisc, and then
you don't watch the Criterion Collection.
You know about Criterion Collection to see that logo?
No.
They've been around since the maybe late 80s, early 90s. They started with Laserdisc. That's how old they are. And they're the first company to put together like special features, commentary tracks in one package for movies they consider like, oh, this is an important film. When I say important, they also include stuff like RoboCop. Like they're not hoity-toity or very pretentious about movies. But they do.
There's an element of art.
There is for sure an art element to what they do. You know, you're not going to find a Transformers movie on there, but you will still find, action movies or whatever. And now they've evolved with culture and with times, and they have their own app, the Criterion app, and they update it every month. And there's incredible stuff on there, stuff that you can't even find streaming for rent or anything anywhere else sometimes, which is very, very cool.
There you go.
So there's too many streaming services.
I know we've talked about this a million times, but it is a true business psychology thing that if you offer too many options, that the customer like gets overwhelmed and wants nothing.
Yep.
I'm there.
We are there with content because everybody, and we're doing it right now, telling you all these great things you should watch, and then the person sitting there listening, maybe writing it down, and then now you have like 10 or 20 great things, and that translates to 50 hours of content, especially if you're describing a series that has like in season 3
But I have
already.
to be honest with you. When I say I'm writing these things down, I'm not writing them down.
You're just doodling.
There's too many of them now. I don't write them down
it's
anymore.
ridiculous.
Yeah, too many.
But by the time, like, I'm sure Penguin is going to get into season 2.
My name is
3.
Daniel, and I'm 5'2".
Oh,
man.
my goodness.
And if I wait that long to then start consuming it, 3 seasons of the Penguin or whatever, that's 30 hours of stuff.
Season 4, Penguin's gay now. You don't
even know about
it's a whole totally different Penguin.
That happened to me with the Gary Oldman show that's on Apple right now, Slow Horses, where he plays like an old, not a good spy, apparently. It's the whole crux of the show, that they're a bunch of spies that aren't very good at what they do.
The horses never get fast.
They never do. They stay slow. And when season 1 came out, like, oh, I'm going to watch the show. They just released season 4 and renewed for season 5 and 6. And I'm like, well, now I'm 50 hours behind on this one show that I wanted to watch, let alone all the other shows that are out there that I want to watch. And now it feels daunting to even start it.
Even having this conversation makes me just want to throw my television away.
Yeah, I'm going to read books from now on.
It's just too much. That's what my wife and daughter do.
I actually have a stack of books I need to read. That's become so daunting I can't even start my stack of books now. Yeah.
You should find those books on streaming.
the audio books.
Yeah, just stream them.
Yeah.
You know what happens to me is every time I actually have like an hour carved out or like, let's watch something, then I think, I'm like, oh yeah, I've been wanting to see or watch Furioso.
I've heard good stuff about Furioso.
I think it's a fun movie.
Which is years old at this point.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, and then I go to
it's
it.
like the baby Mad Max girl Furioso, right?
Yes, exactly.
And then I'm like, too long.
2.5 hours. Yeah.
And then
you need a rapid Furioso.
And then I'm like, oh, I'll watch something else. And then next thing you know, I start watching the preview channel, and then I'm 15 minutes in, and then I'm like, I'll just scroll reels.
Yeah.
And then I just go to scrolling TikTok reels, and
How do I turn off the thing where it starts playing the show? Like as I'm sitting there, like I know it's
like an autoplay type thing?
because I'm so stupid that it'll start playing, and then I'm into the show now. I have to watch it.
That's why they did it.
And then I'm locked in. I'm locked into it. I can't change it now. That's how I get into a lot of shows. That's how I got into the Dallas Cowboys show. That's not a show for me.
Because you were just sitting on the title
but
and
I
just
started watching.
playing?
I was like, this is a good show, this Dallas Cowboys show.
Wow.
And then you get to see old Jerry Jones, and his daughter looks exactly like him. Holy smokes.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
They're very lumpy people, the Joneses. They're very lumpy.
Money does that.
So let's just talk about some shows out there, Chris, that you like or that you would recommend for people. And
Sure.
Even before we start that, what is Silo? Because Daniel mentioned it, and you're like, oh, yeah, Silo.
It's
what
one of
the
these
hell
shows
is that?
I think I can guess it. It's one of these shows that everybody tells me I have to see, and it's one of those concepts that I'm obsessed with. It's people that live inside like an underground silo.
Yep.
And the whole silo is multiple cities, I think, right?
I think it's one big community, but it's huge. It goes extremely deep, so it is split up into like factions, and like the workers are all the way down to bottom and stuff.
Yeah, that's where you put them.
Yeah, and then
to work.
If you do anything that's against that breaks their law, basically, then you get kicked out of the silo. where outside it's supposed to be like poisoned out there from some war or disaster or whatever.
Post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, it's a post-apocalyptic
Always
thing.
war.
And then of course there's one character played by Rebecca Ferguson, great actress, who she is discovering the true history of the silo and maybe why they're really down there and what really is outside. So now there's a big mystery as to what's really going on.
We were the enemy within the whole time.
Yeah, we poisoned ourselves. Yeah.
Well, let me predict what's gonna happen.
Awesome.
They all been living down there, but the world up top is perfectly fine at this point.
It was all a ruse.
It's like Fallout.
It was just a television show.
Yeah.
And they just perpetuated don't
Truman
go
Show.
outside for so many generations.
For control.
That they forgot, and you're right, for control.
Yeah.
And then the upper echelon's like, we can't tell people that it's safe outside. We'll lose the control.
Everyone will leave.
Yeah.
You're not M. Night Shyamalan in my house. No, sirree.
Yeah.
I could see that coming a mile away. That's why I don't trust the current government.
So
Good call. So yeah, the first season came out I think last year. Very good show. Second season just debuted maybe like right now. And it's all on Apple TV Plus, yet another streaming service that not a lot of people have. But Apple has so much money at this point, it's almost like they're just. What I've heard is that they're using the streaming service, the shows, and the movies that they make on that service as advertising for Apple total. You know, people see that there's a Brad Pitt, George Clooney movie out there, and it's on Apple, and then they're just thinking Apple and thinking Apple phone and Apple TV, and they're just thinking about the Apple ecosystem again. So it's almost just a write-off for them, these like $100 million, $150 million projects that no one's watching.
You know who's the most important people in that silo? The HVAC guys.
They legitimately are. Yes,
I'm sitting there thinking
they
about
are.
that. I'm like, man, those HVAC guys are really important.
They're really
How many
working.
people do you have to have 1,000 people on staff?
Call
for
it.
that silo?
Yeah, clean all those vents.
Yeah, 1,000, at least 1,000 HVAC guys.
Absolutely.
Let's just call it AC repair.
No,
I hate the
HVAC. It sounds a lot
You're
cooler.
like, vac, what's that, a vacuum? Is that like, yeah, but it's not the inner workings of the system. It's a vacuum. You're like, just AC repair. Why are you complicating things?
You're an AC guy. Relax.
You're like, I'm an HVAC. I'm like, and then it takes me a second to realize AC repair. Just call it AC repair.
Okay, that's fair.
So let's talk about the inherent problem with streaming shows, right? And I feel like Breaking Bad was the only show that got it right, where they had an ending from the beginning.
Oh, sure. They had an idea where they wanted to go. Yeah.
And then that still holds, like, to me, one of the greatest streaming shows that I've ever watched was Breaking Bad.
Well, Breaking Bad technically was cable because it was on AMC. You can watch it obviously on streaming now, like most things.
Well,
but I caught it streaming.
It split the difference. It was one of those shows where it was cable, but most of us
on demand
got into it on demand
before the last couple seasons. Yes, I did that.
Like
yes.
mine,
True.
the last one I did where it had a sizable, like I would sit in front of the television and I watched the finale was The Sopranos. That was the last one I watched.
Oh boy,
that was it.
Wow, that was a while ago, buddy.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Yeah.
And the problem with these shows, and the base of it is business, right?
Sure. Don't talk about the base of it.
So
wide.
So they have someone write a script for a season. They put it out. If it gets popular, then it gets green lighted for other
They'll
seasons.
keep making it, yes.
And the problem is the writer may have only planned for that for season one.
Yeah.
Maybe had a loose idea for season two, but then all of a sudden, like, they're not writing it until they get the money for season two. And so now they're like, oh, season two, and they I'm sure get told, like, let's draw this out. The longer the better.
Sure.
Right.
So
Harry Potter did that,
Yeah,
right? Like in the last
They
movies.
made the last movie 2 movies.
This is the problem with The Walking Dead, right? So like
totally.
they start just drawing it out, and then it gets diluted
There's a
and
new
worse
one
and
now,
worse.
The Book of Carol.
Oh, is that something like that gets
Another
something
spin-off. It's
going
another
on
spin-off.
Right now,
Yeah.
I think it's Daryl Dixon, a motorcycle and a crossbow, and he's looking for Carol.
Yeah, they keep going. And with Walking Dead, that was actually the funny thing about that was by design. The comic book started that way. The guy who started the book, who's Dan?
It was
Rob Kirkman, is it?
it was Kirkman. Yeah.
Kirkman wanted to make a zombie story that never ended. He was like, well, if a zombie apocalypse happened, it will probably just keep going on forever. Your characters will die, but there's still a zombie apocalypse.
Sure.
So he's like, what if I write a comic book series, start a series that can just conceivably go on forever in this zombie world? And that's a great idea, but then now you're getting to the point where, well, how many of these stories can we keep making up that involve zombies? Now we're recycling things. It feels another villain of the week. We go to the warden and the governor and whatever. So the same thing with the TV show. If they wanted the TV show to go on forever, people are going to get bored with it, inevitably.
This happened to me with the show For All Mankind on Apple Plus. Like, started off great.
Yeah.
Even season 2 was pretty good. I was still in.
Yeah.
And now when they got to Mars, then me and Crystal just faded off and we're like disinterested. And it kind of ruined the whole goddamn thing for us.
That's interesting. I binged For All Mankind recently, the 4 seasons. I think the issue with that one is a little different. I did find the first couple seasons more compelling.
Yeah.
But I think it's because those seasons are rewriting of a history that already happened. So we're like, well, I know this happened, but they're saying, what if this instead? And that's fun. But now with the latest seasons, now it's speculation. Now we're in the future. We're on Mars. So they're not rewriting history. They're just coming up with a new history. Now it's kind of like almost just like any other show at this point. So the hook of For All Mankind now changes. I'm still enjoying it. I'm going to watch season 5, I guess, whenever it comes out. But it does... It did change after a couple seasons for sure.
And then you're kind of limited to what you can do because you're not going to introduce aliens or anything ridiculous.
No.
You know, so it's like, how many times can you be trapped in a space capsule over and over and over? Then the air's running out and they're trying to save you. It's like all you got.
Oh, we got our first moon murder. Okay, now we got our first Mars murder. Okay, it's like, how many times can we just keep doing the same thing in a different location?
You're limited by just the really what storylines you could even come up with that are feasible because you go too ridiculous and then people, I guess, are really out. Although if you started introducing aliens, I'll be like, oh, I'm back in.
Maybe.
Right.
It's so absurd.
Yeah, what else are you going to do at this point? Yeah, they have to end it with season 5. I can't see them going further than this. Although, I mean, like you said, if more people watch it and Apple's like, here's another $80 million, make another season, I'm sure they're like, okay, yeah, we'll sit down and figure out another more make-em-ups. We'll do them again. Yeah.
So, Chris, any other streaming shows you could think of? I know I watched the first 2 seasons of that It's Florida Man on HBO.
Yeah, so you're continuing with that.
I'm going to watch not the season, the
episodes,
first 2 episodes. I'm going to watch the third episode.
What'd you think of the second
one? It's put together well.
Is it funny, though, or is it like...
It's funny.
Okay.
Although it's like pretty gruesome, like the second episode was about a guy getting his arm bit off by a gator.
Ooh, gotcha.
Although both episodes, like, you're blaming Florida for just general mental illness and drug addiction because the guy in the episode 2 is like, first he wasn't even from Florida, he was from like up north somewhere.
We get a lot of that,
and then
most Floridians know their way around a gator.
And he's obviously he was on meth. They left that part out, like the fact
can't leave that part out.
You know, like,
that's a very important part.
So you're kind of just like, look at these weird characters from Florida. I'm like, first he wasn't born in Florida and he's on meth, and anybody on meth is going to do weird things. Like, you're not really blaming Florida.
Yeah, but
I know.
If you can't give Florida a pass, you got to make it look dumb as hell.
No, people love talking down about this state, and you know what? Good for them.
Yeah.
For them.
Go ahead. That's fine.
That's fine.
It's well put together. I will say that.
And which one is that on? Is that Max?
HBO,
that's a Max show. Yeah, that's interesting. Max just started a Dune Prophecy last night, which is interesting.
Is it the same quality? Would you say it's
same quality?
Exactly the same quality as the movie?
I would absolutely
because
not
that was
say
my
that,
number
no.
one though. Is that they have to do that? Like my point. Like I'm big on this. When you do a show from movies, or vice versa, because there was something. Aren't we getting a Game of Thrones movie that was like something that was thrown out last week or something?
Maybe they're bringing back the Jon Snow prequel or series, whatever.
But if you do it has to be the same either way.
Yes, and I could tell from the marketing, and I like the first episode. I think it's well done. It's still, even if it's expensive, it still looks like the TV show version of Dune. The costuming is not as intricate.
Gotcha.
The music, the score isn't as good because they don't have Hans Zimmer. You know, it's still based on Dune books. The son of the original author wrote more sequels to them, so it's based on that. It's filling a lot of backstory.
I would never let my kid do that.
Well, I think he did, he did after his dad died.
If Maisie's like, I want to continue the legacy
of Tom and Dan,
and Mr. Snarts and all your characters, I'd be like, it dies with me. you don't get to take it in a different direction.
Get Mo to write that into your estate because
that's a good idea.
Yeah, because Herbert's kid was like, no, I'm making this Dune money. And the show is, I think it's good. I'm looking forward forward to it evolving. There's only one episode, but quality-wise, like, it looks good, but it does not look as good as the movie. The very, very expensive movies.
Well, it's funny because we don't understand what we're watching until you see, like, behind the scenes of, like, super, you know, $1 billion movie or whatever, where it's like each second of the CGI took 50 hours of rendering time.
Yeah.
You're like, 50 hours a second?
Yeah.
You're like, of supercomputers rendering this. And like, that's why
I turned this off for Pornhub.
And then we don't understand what that means until
like,
and then we see the movie do, and you're like, whoa, this looks nice. And the TV show, you're like, not as good.
Not as good.
And you're like, that's the 50 hours a second.
Yeah,
that took a supercomputer.
Or instead of getting the best costume designer in town because they can afford it, well, we got the third best guy. He's still good, and he's got good stuff, but it's not as good. You know,
It's the quality's a little less.
Did we get the adult movie Poon? Did we get that? We should have, right? I mean, it's the easiest one to do.
Poon Part 1 and Poon Part 2?
Yeah.
We did get P-word juice, which I saw.
No, we did not.
I'm
finding that.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's out.
I'm finding that.
And then
somebody. No, wait.
No,
I was going to do the mask. I was going to do the mask.
You were doing mask.
It says P-word juice, and then in parentheses it says a Beetlejuice parody.
I hate when they do
You
that.
didn't need to do that.
I'm like, I did the math on P-word.
So stupid.
I see the girl, and she's dressed like Beetlejuice.
Which one is it?
And
Oh, it's the girl just like Beetlejuice.
Yeah. That's why it's a
I
P-word
like that.
juice.
So they're changing the gender?
Yes.
wokeism.
I love this. I think this is great.
I just don't like when they have all the makeup on and things start smearing. Like, come on, man. This does not look good.
You can change it in post.
I didn't need you to put the parentheses Beetlejuice
parody.
I knew.
I think legally they have to do that.
I know.
I think it's a legal thing because all of them do it.
I know it's
stupid.
It's obnoxious. Yeah.
So any other shows?
I'll throw this one out there real quick. I guess I'm just focusing on Apple right now. There's a limited series, only 7 episodes. No season 2 is happening, so you don't have to worry about something being dragged on. It's a show called Disclaimer.
Okay.
It's a drama. Kate Blanchett, Sacha Baron Cohen doing a dramatic role, and very good. A couple other recognizable actors. Oh, Kevin Kline is in it. He does nothing these days, so he's in it, playing an old frumpy British guy. And it's a great show about a woman who she gets a book that is describing a story from her past, like 15 years ago.
I actually wandered in accidentally to the trailer.
So trailer for it, yeah. It's excellent. It's written and directed by this guy Alfonso Cuarón, who made movies like Children of Men and Gravity. He's a great filmmaker.
A book that's sent to her, and
sent her in the mail.
She realizes that the book that she got sent in the mail is actually her own life story.
It's describing her and something bad that happened, and her life starts falling apart when this book starts getting sent to people. And it's a 7-episode series, and it builds up great to the 7th episode. I don't want to spoil things, but the reveal in episode 7 is so interesting because it puts you, the viewer, in the same position as a lot of other characters in the show, and you have to then examine your own thought processes while you're watching the show. It actually challenges you as a viewer, if you're open to it. It challenges you as a viewer what you thought about this character.
I'm never open to a challenge.
Well, then stay far away, sir. Stay far away. But
people challenge me and I cower in fear.
Like, no, I'm going home. Never mind. It's a great show. It's called Disclaimer. It's on Apple. Only 7 episodes. It's done. It's out. It's all out now. So that's good for.
Chat room is asking about Heretic quickly before we run.
Oh, Heretic! I had a lot of fun. I saw that movie this past weekend. That's Hugh Grant is a bad guy. You'll like this movie, Tom. A couple Mormon girls show up at Hugh Grant's house to preach the word of Mormonism.
If it were a couple of Mormon girls that really showed up at Hugh Grant's house,
at real Hugh Grant's house,
I feel like they'd have a great time.
No, it would be awesome. And he invites them in and then challenges them on their beliefs and on just the whole idea of religion. He says he knows the one true religion, puts them through some things to examine their own belief system.
You know,
It's a
I've
fascinating
always wanted
film.
to have enough time to make a series of traps for people that come to my house.
Especially people who like religion too much.
Yeah, no, just anybody.
Oh, just anyone. Oh, you're very open. Okay.
Like, hey, you want to come in here and try these traps? I got some traps.
That's a good one. Heretic. I think Tommy, you would really like it. Just the way it very openly explores and examines religion, its impact on people, and belief system and stuff like that.
Actually,
and it's entertaining.
I know the outcome of it, and I will say I like the ending to that one.
All right, there you go.
I thought it was a good ending.
There you go.
How did Hugh Grant get caught with the transgender prostitute?
Oh,
I don't think it was it a transgender prostitute?
Or you're thinking of Eddie Murphy?
Yeah, you're thinking of Eddie Murphy. I didn't.
But we do know the name of the
Hugh
girl.
Grant was Divine Brown.
Divine Brown.
Yeah, I thought it was a woman.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Eddie Murphy was called with a transsexual.
Possible transsexual
person. But how did Hugh Grant get caught?
sloppiness.
Wasn't he in a park?
Yeah, he's somewhere public probably. He was probably in a car.
I thought he was in a public park.
I mean, he just picked her up on a street.
And then he was,
just parked somewhere. And
I think he was in a park.
And then the cops did the old knocking on the window.
Yeah, what are you doing? Why are these windows so steamy?
Odd that he did that.
Very odd.
Well, what's really odd is that he was with at the time
Elizabeth Hurley.
Elizabeth Hurley.
Yeah.
Who is one of the most beautiful women, in my opinion, of all time.
Still, to this day, she still looks incredible.
In June 1995, actor Hugh Grant was arrested in Los Angeles for engaging in lewd conduct with a sex worker, Divine Brown. The incident occurred when the police officer noted Grant's parked car repeatedly flashing its brake lights. He was stomping the brake lights. He's like, I've never had one so good that it made me stomp the brake lights.
Wow.
Look, I've tried that. First of all, Andrea's never doing that in the car. Second of all, it's not gonna be so good. I'm gonna be, oh God, stomping the brakes.
Yeah, what is this guy doing?
Repeatedly flashing his brake lights, prompting further investigation. Upon approaching the vehicle, the officer discovered Grant and Brown engaged in a sexual act, leading to their arrest.
Wow.
Let's see, what act? Let's see if I can force it to tell. What act, ChatGPT? It told me, and then it got mad at itself, and it said it won't repeat it. This content may violate our usage policies. It was oral sex.
Stupid AI. Just tell us what it was.
I feel like I could hide that if a cop's coming up. I'm like, oh, you push her away, and then we're just here talking baseball.
But they all do that.
And then
no one ever talks their way out of it.
What proof do they have?
Do you ever watch Live PD? No one ever talks their way out of it ever, and they always do that.
Yeah. Like,
we're just sitting here.
One of the other ones is if she's just a good girl, needs a ride home.
Yeah.
That's a big one. She's giving her a ride home. When it's a sad state of America when you can't even be a goddamn good citizen and take a young woman with no teeth and dirty knees home. She has no home.
Just drop her off at the corner.
Here, home's here. Get
out.
Perfect. Closer than I thought.
We're here.
Closer than I thought.
Well, Chris, thanks so much for running through that with us.
Yeah,
again, Cinema Crespedeso.
Thanks a lot for running through that one. This guy thanks for running it through.
See where his mind's at right now.
This guy's an animal.
I was trying to describe what we did. I was like, what did we do?
A lot of good is what we did.
All right.
A lot of good. Yeah.
Cinema
I love
Crespedeso.
it when you come in, man.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate
Cinema Crespedeso podcast. Go there. Check it all out. If you need movie info, those are your boys.
There you go.
We will be right back.
That was really funny, dude. That's
Cool.
Tuesday 3.
Tuesday 3, yeah. And that'll put us on track for tomorrow.
That was really funny.
That's funny. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Always
I appreciate you staying a little
come
longer.
in. My pleasure.
We appreciate it, man.
Happy to sweat up your couch anytime you want to come over.
Sweat it all
You
up.
guys have torn dollar bills down there on the floor.
Yeah, that's
You know,
Ross.
Dansby found those over the weekend. I brought him over here, and he rooted out some Ram Davesy ripped dollar bills. He rooted them out of the... Yeah, it's a Ram Davesy bit.
Okay, I remember that now. Okay, good stuff.
Well, have a good rest of your day, dude.
Thank you. You too.
You want us to be in touch for scheduling?
Matt will take care of it. Oh, you for this one?
Yeah, for next time?
For next time? Yeah. Probably.
Guys, we're going to do... I think we're doing lunch now. Love you, buddy. Be good.
Appreciate it.
Maybe December 16th.
I think we're out of here. Oh, Elizabeth Hurley. One of my... Yeah, I'm with you, Tracy. Why would you cheat on Elizabeth Hurley? Are we done until after lunch? Until BDM show? All right, guys.